now see that government matters. Go to Aba. I don't know when last you went to Aba. Now, Aba had one road, which, it's called different things at different points, from Ezeku Road to Port Harcourt Road to whatever, and then it exits the city. And many people who had property beyond CKC in Aba, going into Port Harcourt Road, Ezeku Road, by the time Odinkalu had finished his term as governor, had no value in the property anymore. People built duplexes and they could not sell them for 10 million naira. 8 million naira. They could not get buyers. The current governor has been in office for barely 2 years. Those same properties that could not go for 8 million naira, and now people are now begging to buy them for 300 million naira. What has happened? Those places that Odinkalu and Theodoji and what's his name, the last one, okay, because all I remember is the one that lines up at the back, Ibazo, exactly. Now, those places where they neglected now have roads, drained, have street lights, and people are wondering what exactly happened to us. Governance matters, and we can begin to recruit by also encouraging people with track records. We knew what our governors did before. Mbakwe was a lawyer who did abandoned property advocacy in Port Harcourt. Yeah. And he ran against Wakamo Okoro, who was the first Igbo senior advocate of Nigeria and first Igbo president of the Nigerian Bar Association. Yes? Now, in Anambra State, you had Jim Wobodo, who was an English language teacher at CKC, a former chairman of Rangers. He ran against Christian Ono, who was a lawyer and a big landowner in Kano land. Yes? These people, we knew where they came from. We knew what they did. Please, can somebody tell me?
And they had an address.
They had an address. What did Rochas Okorocha do? What was Hope Uzodimma's job? I'm sorry I'm asking questions. I'm not condemning anybody. But it is important that we ask these questions.
And if anybody has answers, they should bring it.
You see, the current governor of Enugu State, I know what he did.
That was Professor Chidi Odinkalu praising the governor of Abia State, Dr. Alex Otti, for the unprecedented transformation of the commercial capital of Abia State and one of the commercial centers of Southeast Nigeria, Aba, just by his actions in the last 2 years, helping to transform a city that was literally abandoned by the previous governors before him, showing clearly that indeed it is all about leadership. It is not about anything. Nothing is wrong with Aba. Nothing is wrong with Abia State. Abia State is underdeveloped, not because of anything. It is because of bad leadership. When a good leader emerges, who understands the needs of the people, he will work for the people. And these things has to be based on those who know the responsibilities of a leader. And then somebody who understands what development is all about and pursue it with one mind. That was what Professor Odinkalu is celebrating. For those who don't know, Professor Chidi Odinkalu is a professor of law who has taught law both within Nigeria and outside. And he knows what he's talking about. Of course, there are places I would disagree with him, but not in anything fundamental, to be frank. When he talks about the recruitment process, those who we have recruited to be leaders in the Southeast, to be governors. He made mention of Sam Mbakwe and others who are professionals, lawyers, Talk about Nwoburu, who was a teacher, who was former chairman of the Rangers International. People know where they were coming from. And then he talk about, begin to ask questions about Rochas Okorocha, about Uzodimma. What were they doing before? What's their business? What are they noted for before they were able to rise to the position of governing a state? But that's where I would disagree with him. Not that I disagree fundamentally that those are not examples of basket case. Both Uzodimma and Rocha, they are basket case. With the potential, the resources available to Imo State should be better than the way Uzodimma and Rochas made it. If you look at the level of insecurity in Imo State in particular, you will know that it is a failure of leadership that could have led to that. I know there are a lot of people who will say, okay, and what do I mean by that? I mean the process of the leadership, the role of the Nigerian state, the Supreme Court interference in the whole process and all that, which is a story for another day. But I don't want to say that you have to be a professional before you can be a governor of a state, or before you can even be a president of a country. Like he was mentioning these people as professionals. Nwoburu a professional teacher, Ono a lawyer, and Mbakwe a lawyer and all that. Agree. And others. But if you look at Abia State itself, Theodore, I was told, was once a permanent secretary. So he is highly educated to be able to rise to the position of a PAMSEC before he became governor. If you look at OKC Basu, PhD, a lecturer, he is highly educated. So it's not just about education, it's about knowing the responsibility that is thrown upon you as governor of a state. If you know it, you can be able to do well. Okay, look at Anambra State. Professor Masoludo, big name, professor of economics, former governor of Central Bank, consultant to World Bank, International Monetary Fund, United Nations. Just list it. But is Anambra faring well? The answer is capital no. That you are a professor is not an indication of good leadership. So the good leadership must come from within, that you are and know what leadership, and it can be learned. Nobody is born with leadership quality. Because if that is the truth, then we'll be living in monarchies. Then monarchies will be those in charge, who are the blue blood. But leadership can be learned. Leadership can be applied. What Theodore and what Dr. Alex Otti has shown in Abia State is a governor that was prepared for leadership. A governor that was well prepared for leadership. All you need to do is to go and watch the old interviews of Dr. Alex Otti when he was contesting for governor under Abda. Go and look at, just watch his interviews at that time. You will know that this is a man who knew the road and where he was headed right from that time. And this is clear. When what you need in Southeast, and indeed the rest of the country is leaders who are ready to sacrifice for the people. Dr. Alex Otti could have done what others were doing before him. Put the money in his pocket. Go and get local contractors to grade the road that will be destroyed by the next rainy season. And he will spend a lot of money in the media. Have you not noticed that Dr. Otti, like Mr. Peter Obi, hardly go on media jamboree? Have you not noticed that despite the fact that Dr. Otti is arguably the best performing governor in Nigeria today, given the amount of resources available to him, how many times have you heard them give, the media houses give Otti Governor of the Year? Have you seen his splashing images of transformation of this Abba that Professor is talking about, to show how he has transformed Abia State? You hardly see it in the mainstream media. The only people who are beating the drum of success for Dr. Otti have been people who use social media. From what they have seen, what they have heard, they are putting it out to the whole world. And then people like Professor Odinkalu, he's not loud, but his works are speaking for him. Former governors of Abia State, they were patronizing the media. The media were giving them awards. They were hailing them. But that was not leadership, because they don't know what their responsibilities are to the people, because they are not ready to do the right thing. Their personal interest was far more important to them than the interest of Abia people. And for the first time since Abia was created, Abia is having a governor who is working for the people. And that's why the result is showing. And that's why everybody is talking about it. I'm sure Dr. Alex Otti didn't pay any money to anybody to sing his praises. But people are singing his praises. The other time, it was the former governors, they were paying the media to say they are doing well, when nothing was being done. Abba was like, parts of Abba was like a refuse dump. And within 2 years, properties that were worth nothing before are now worth 300 million. What is the reason for such skyrocketing increase in the value of properties that was done years ago? It was because you now have a thinking governor. A thinking governor. Because the problem of our leaders is that they don't think. And for a very long time, Abia had never had a governor that thinks. Now Abia has a governor that thinks. And when you have a thinking governor, the result you get is what we are getting in Abia State. Kudos to Dr. Alex Otti. But it's not largely because of his high education. It is because he's a thinking person. He's a thinking leader who knows what to do, unlike the other ones who are thinking from their pocket instead of thinking through their head. That's my take on Professor Odinkalu's assessment of Dr. Alex Otti and comparing him with other governors, and then bemoaning the recruitment process of leaders in Igbo land, and indeed all over Nigeria, because the recruitment process matters. I agree, but that is not the sole problem. The sole problem is those who are coming into leadership without knowing what leadership entails. they are always the people that you regret when they are in power. Nobody is lamenting Alex Otti's governorship. Only those who are benefiting from the backwardness of Abia State in the past that are complaining, not those who are seeing the progress that have been unleashed in an unprecedented way in that state right now. Whatever is your position, let's hear from you at the comment section. And don't forget to join our membership so that you can have access to members-only videos that you'll be glad you did. Thank you, and God bless you and yours.